These are elderberries, and they're awesome. I go out on the roadways and I find them. I bring them home and I make syrup out of them. They're awesome. They are an immune system booster. They're full of vitamins and loaded with all kinds of good things, and I wanted to have my own. So I started purchasing plants and going out and finding wild elderberries along the roadside, making my own cuttings and planting things. And the deer come along and they're messing that all up. And I planted these elderberries last year. They should be about 3 feet tall now, and the deer have whittled them down a lot. And these elderberries would have been 2 to 3 feet tall too, but they came up here and munched on these guys. Just took all the tops off. I've been all over the internet looking for solutions to the deer problem. Nothing really impresses or works as much as a fence. Yeah, sometimes you get motivated when you get beat up all the time by the local wildlife. Yeah, these are desperate times when you gotta fight the wildlife to feed yourself. Actually, what's going on is I have 35 elderberry bushes. This is my experimental garden here, and the deer keep eating them up. Some of these are a year old. The others don't stand a chance, neither do these when the deer come back in. Okay, last hole with my post hole digger. 10 out of 10. Yay. Got another dump load. This needed to be spread out a little bit better than that. Okay, well, back to this. This is fun. My last bag. Oh, it feels so good to sit down. Okay, so I get a snack. These are really good. They're called Aussie Bites, and I get them from Costco. And it's a Sustain drink. What is this kind of a drink, Vicki?
Electrolyte.
Yeah, electrolytes. Sustain from Melaleuca. And I'll eat this and I'll be able to go out there for another hour or hour and a half. Isn't that great? Well, all this work just to protect these elderberries that are growing. And some of them are in dormancy, and the rest I planted this year. I stuck them in the ground just this past month, and they ought to do real well if they're protected. I don't know. You think it's gonna be tall enough? 8-foot posts sticking out of the ground and concreted below that. Yeah, these deer. Just in case I have to replace any of those elderberries that are out there in the back 40, I've got plenty of them ready to go. Okay, well, I've got the 6-foot wire strung all the way down to the end from the beginning, and they're pretty taut, and I'll be hanging up my fence, my 6-foot fence, on these wires once I get them all strung. Okay, this is my wife come out to give me support for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold out here. Well, anyway, we're getting it done.
It's great. He's doing a really, just saying, the guy on YouTube that showed how to do this made it look like you could do it in 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah. I've been at it for a week or so. Okay. All right. So my fence will go 6 feet high, and I've marked it down every foot, and I've strung a steel wire, and I'll fasten my fence to these steel wires. And before I put the fence up, I just wanted to bring some of the mulch out closer to the fence line. Yeah, I'm totally new at this, and I've never worked with chicken wire before, and so I'm really behind the learning curve, and I know that there's probably a ton of different ways to do a better job than what I'm doing and do it faster. But when I unrolled this brand new thing of chicken wire, a whole 1.5 feet of the end of it that needs to go in a straight line up that post was so bungered up, I'm gonna have to cut that off, I think, in order to get started with this thing. Just things I'm learning. Well, I finally got it laid out all the way down. What I discovered is that this stuff, this 2-inch chicken wire, stretches in every direction really well. And so I'm ending up really having extra down here. But that's going to be great because I will be able to use this for keeping the digging animals out of the area. I hope this works out well by the time I get my fence all strung out. I'm having to put these little clips, these ties, zip ties, on here and keeping them loose because when I get down to the pole, I'll need to do some stretching. Well, not sure if I know what I'm doing here. I'll get it done. So I'll use this last load of chips to fill in spaces down there toward the end where the mulch is disintegrating into dirt, and it needs to be filled in a little bit more. I've done about 48 feet worth of fencing. The challenge I have is because my posts are 24 feet apart, I can't get the wire tight as I've seen some people be able to do. So I'm just doing the best I can. I'm sure people will come along later and tell me what I could have done after the fact. Yeah, only about 5 million of these guys, these zip ties to tighten down. When I started this project, I thought it was going to cost me about $350 to do this thing. Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I'm still trying to save money. If I had put posts about every 8 to 10 feet, this fence wouldn't be quite as wobbly, but I couldn't afford to do that. So I just got a reply back from a big company that grows lots of elderberries, and I watched one of their videos where they were sticking long cuttings into the ground. I asked them if they were seeing greater success or faster success, and they said yes, they were, that they saved a lot of extra time by making longer cuttings as opposed to the shorter ones. And so that's why I've put 2 or 3 of these longer cuttings into my soil. This guy here is doing just fine. He's sprouting out, the bud is coming to life, and he'll do fine. But that longer cutting ought to do much faster. You two, smile at me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, this is what it's like. If you have people who can help you, it goes a lot faster.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah. You just pounded in the last stuff, and now we're done with this
Yes.
project.
We are done.
More or less.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and helping.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this is my deer fence that I finished today, more or less. I can still go up another foot or so if I wanted. But it is 6 feet tall and then some. And some of the frustrations and some of the challenges, and this is not a how-to video. but it looks fine. Maybe you can see that the fence, the chicken wire, is not exactly taut, and that's because I think my posts are way too far apart, but that's because we didn't have the money to do anything more than we did. And so these fence posts right here are 17 feet apart. The ones in the back are 24 feet apart, and that's why they maybe droop a little bit on the top. But we had to do what we had to do with the materials we had. One thing that I'd probably change if I could, but again, these are 2-inch holes right here. And in the videos, the YouTube videos, the ones that I saw, they're using 1-inch squares or whatever, holes. And because this is 2 inches, man, it just was hard to work with. And by that I mean that it stretched out of shape depending upon how I was having to handle it. I did most of the work all by myself, and because of that, it would have worked a lot better if I'd have had another person or 2 other people. 17 gauge cable or wire, and the chicken wire I tacked on with staples, and then I would hit it again with a really firm hard staple to hold it tight, because it did stretch. The wire, the chicken wire stretched. That ended up being a good thing, because now I have a barrier that runs all the way out, maybe about 1 foot or more, to keep the guys from wanting to dig under. I'll have to figure out how I want to fasten this to the dirt. So much better now that these plants that are really wanting to bust out now are not going to be eaten up by the deer. This is the last day of February 2024, and these plants are just wanting to go crazy. And the deer were going to come along and eat these guys up, but yay, we got the fence up. I don't know if it's going to be this much work. Would I have done it? Yes. These beautiful white flower clusters turn into beautiful berries, and that's what I'm after.